Yes, hey everybody, welcome back to Warm Embers. This week we have an amazing artist, Pascha, and she is from Bother Creations. Welcome. Tell us who you are. I'm excited to get into your artistic journey.
Yeah, well, hi everybody. I'm Pascha Madrid, and I'm the creator of Bothed Creations. I love creating. I've always been a creator, but I didn't realize later on until later on in life that I was actually good at it enough to to sell. So something I always did, but I enjoy it very much.
I've always created too, and then now I'm like, oh, at my age, I'm like, I really want to do this, and I think we've always been good at it, but I feel like maybe we get to a point in life where like, oh, let's just go on all in on ourselves, because we feel confident in who we are and our creations. So it's so funny. I think that's so because when we're young, we're still trying to figure ourselves out, but now we're
Yeah.
like, no. So tell us where you're coming from, what tribe.
Yeah, so I'm from Isleta Pueblo in New Mexico, so it's going to be about 20 minutes south of Albuquerque. Um, Currently, I'm in Georgia. My
Oh,
mom is out here, and she's elderly, and I'm out here for a season with her because she wants to be closer to her side of the family. So I think being out here has been a really big eye opener too, though, because being around your community all the time is normal. You see it all the time. So now being out here, I could really see what makes us us, like I can see what's missing. And I'm like, I thought that was normal everyday stuff to see, and it's not.
oh my gosh. I love that. Like, what is one thing that you can share with us that you automatically recognize?
Obviously, from New Mexico, it's going to be the green chili.
Oh yeah.
we, there's no green chili out here, and we actually got it shipped in from Hatch.
Oh my gosh, that's
We
so cool.
roasted it and everything, and so we have at least green chili in our freezer. But yeah, as far as food wise, that's what we're missing. But like art wise, it's the Southwest jewelry. There's lots of natives on this side, but it's totally different style. Different altogether. So you can see the difference.
Oh, that's cool. I think that it's so interesting when you go into different communities. And as a native, because I grew up on the Navajo res, and I was so used to how things were. And when you go into a different community, it can be kind of like you get shy about things or like you're not really sure. And I think that it's really brave to go into these spaces and take up space and share like I'm from here or this is what we do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because markets down at home, they already kind of know,
Uh,
and over here they're like, what is this? And who are you? And you're like, oh, I gotta explain myself.
oh yeah. Yeah, that is one, right? Because they're like, where are you from?
Mhm.
Okay, so what's your first memory you have of making jewelry or weaving? How old were you? And
So, well, as a kid, my mom was always creative, and we would come out here to Georgia to visit her sister, and we would do ceramic paints. So she kind of got me into it artistically. It wasn't until later on when I was a homeschool mom, and it was to a point where my kids were, I could teach them the lesson, but I just sat there and let them work it out. And I
uh-huh.
was like, what am I going to do? I can't sit here and just wait, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, I love bracelets and earrings. So I started doing bead loom bracelets.
Okay.
And so my first memory of doing that for myself is sitting right next to my kids while they're working on their homeschool and I'm beating my bracelets.
Oh, that's cool. What did you do with them? Did you like gift them or?
Well, I wore them and I thought I had one here, but I would wear them and my friends would be like, oh, those are pretty. Where did you get it from? I said, well, I made this one. And they're like, you should sell it. I said, really? So then I opened up an Etsy shop and I put them up there. And then I started going to markets around the area. And that's when people started buying them.
That's so cool. That's so funny because that's how I started earring making too, was like I made one for myself And then after that, I was like, oh, my friends' birthdays. So I'd give it to them. And then pretty soon
Hmm.
people would be like, oh, I want to buy those. And then that's how it started.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's a nice compliment when they want to buy it.
Yes, for real. And then when you see people wearing it, you're like, oh my gosh, I made that.
Yeah, yes, I have a friend. She's like my number one fan, and my mom is too. Every time I make something, she wants it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but when I have a friend who's like a fan, and every time she comes and visits, or I see her or a picture, she's wearing something of mine. So it's really nice.
Oh, I love that. So apparently in my little entrepreneur class, they said that you have tiers of customers, and one is a super fan that no matter what you do and what you make, they're always there to buy it and support you.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I recognize them too. I got some repeat customers in Alaska, and I'm like, Alaska, wow, you
That's
know,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you think or how did you have your technique and your eye for creation? Like how did you shape that and how did it
Um, well, when I really started beading for myself,
Mhm.
trying to design, because at first, you're learning, you're kind of practicing the technique, and it's not quite your signature. But when I started making my own designs, it's going to be modeled off after the Pueblo pottery.
Okay.
So that's one thing, that I wanted to stick with. And then the natural colors that we have, like with the turquoise and um, the coral and just earth tones. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pueblo pottery is so beautiful. Like the technique, I don't know. Like we went to Swire Market last year and the lady said she used some type of plant as the paintbrush. And I was like, oh,
Probably yucca. She
okay.
probably used yucca. I mean, that's a technique you could use too. And then you make it real fine, like hair, like
Uh-huh.
fibers. Yep. So that's the
Yeah.
technique to use.
Yes. That's so beautiful. Your tribes and your designs are amazing. Your culture shows up visually and spiritually in your practice. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so visually is what I like to focus on because I definitely want to be respectful to any, symbolism. And I want people to feel comfortable too, because really I want people to buy to support Indigenous artists. And I get the question all the time, can I wear this? Can I have this? And I'm like, yes. So everything I make is actually that conversation piece to educate people about where we're from. So and especially being out here, the style is totally caught off guard, because everyone has like the Plains Indian look out here. And
Uh-huh.
when they see the Pueblo art, they're like, this is different. And so that's a good opening piece to, educate people. Yeah, we're over here in New Mexico, and there's a whole bunch of us out here. Because out here they're not set up on tribes like we are. There's places out here that used to have reservations, and they're just museums.
Oh.
So it's kind of sad, but it's they're really open out here to learning too. It's amazing.
I love that you use your pieces to educate. I think that's a really important conversation right now as there's so
Mhm.
many native artists going into the spotlight and a big conversation about a cultural appropriation versus cultural
Mhm.
appreciation.
Yeah.
And I feel like even there's a kind of like a dust up where some people are wearing things and people are like, you can't wear that. But in reality, we want as artists, we want people like globally to wear our the
Hmm.
things we make and also like separating like the aesthetic that we make for people versus like ceremonial stuff like
Hmm.
that's for us and that's
Yeah.
not for public
Yeah.
consumption that
Right.
when we create things that we're creating it for public consumption and I think that's like
Hmm.
such an important topic that you touched on like how do
Yeah.
you find that messaging because when people come up like they're like you said can I wear this like how do you
Yeah.
yeah
So for instance, like I take our sash belts,
uh-huh
kind of, they're 3 inches wide by like 80 to 100 inches long and lots of fringe, right? So that's really kind of how I started weaving was I was begged to learn how to weave because nobody was doing them.
Oh yeah.
So I went to, at the time I was only beading, and then I seen this guy doing the sash belts, and he's like, "You're from here?" Because it was at our Isleta market. I say, "Yeah," and he was a belt maker, and he's like, "You need to learn how to do this because nobody here knows how." And he was from another tribe, so I learned how to make it.
Uh-huh.
And so what I did for it, I do traditional sash belts as well, but for my markets and stuff, what I did was I kind of adapted them into
Ooh, that's
like they still have
beautiful.
the fringe, but
Uh-huh.
they're an inch and a half wide and they're on D rings so
Okay.
that anybody could wear them, you know. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is men in New Mexico were my biggest buyers.
Really? Oh my gosh.
So, and weaving bookmarks. Like I have the traditional
Oh, that's
type motifs,
beautiful.
but
Uh-huh.
they're bookmarks. So it's weaving and bookmarks, and definitely people they see these and they're like, "What is this?" And then there's my open door, and people do they buy them and they appreciate the technique that goes in, and just I explain to them it's a lost art, and I do traditional stuff too, but this is for the market for everybody else to help support that as well.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. How long does it take you to make a belt?
Um, well, it depends on the size of the loom.
Uh-huh.
Like I have a loom back here,
Okay.
and that warped up will take me mm, maybe 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
So
That
that's including like putting it on and doing the weaving. If it's just a plain one. Now, if it has like some patterns in it, I
uh-huh.
gotta concentrate a little bit more and hope I don't mess up. So
Uh-huh.
that could add another 1 to 2 hours probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I when was making some earrings and I noticed after I made them, I was like, "Oh, these were because I think I did one and then I stopped and then I did the second one another time and because that's when I was working full time. And then I put them together and I was like, "Oh my gosh, the top beads, I left one out." Like it was a big bead
Oh,
too.
oh, so spirit beads.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly. It was meant to be like that.
Yeah, hey, and that's what we're taught too. Like it's meant to be not perfect, no one's perfect. So yeah, I
Yeah,
hear that one a lot.
I love that. Yes, I love that like that teaching and the how you put something in your work that is like a yellow bead and all of the stuff, like some people do that. So,
Yeah, some people have their little, I guess, like Easter eggs. I guess kind of they have a signature way of putting something randomly in their piece. Yeah, those are fun.
yeah. So, we're talking about the process. So, on a good day, what does your creative process look like?
Everything goes perfect. So, gosh, on a good day for me, I get excited about what I'm doing. I
Huh?
have to have a notebook with me because then I just have all these ideas and I just have to sketch them out, write them out, something. And then I feel a lot better that they're out. And then,
Yes.
yeah, because my husband wonders about me sometimes. He doesn't, he's like, I hope I don't ever get inside your head because I go crazy. Gosh. But yeah, so I write everything down and then I get into the zone. I put on my music that I like depending on how I'm feeling, and then everything goes smoothly, and I do a lot of like I like the ASMR
Mm-hmm.
touching and feeling of when I'm weaving. So it's ambient music, or an audiobook or something. So, and then a bad day, I just can sit there and stare at it and make mistakes. And I just, those days I don't like. I feel
Uh-huh.
so defeated. But, I have to learn to walk away, and
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want that creativity to go. When I'm making something, I don't want that energy to get into it. I want to make my pieces with good energy. And if I'm frustrated and mad, you see it. You just see it in your pieces. It's amazing how much you could feel from those pieces.
Yes, that is like the perfect explanation of artist life.
Good.
Because it is like So when you said you want it to go perfect, oh my gosh, I was working on a project and it felt like everything was going wrong. And I was like, what happened? Was somebody talking bad about me? Or
Yeah, yeah, I know those days are so bad. I
uh,
mean, but I've learned no matter how much you try and prepare yourself for those days, sometimes they just don't happen, you know. There's some
yeah.
other plan for you that day.
Yes, exactly. So how do you choose your materials, like your color palettes, like how are you inspired?
Well, um, everything actually has kind of happened to me by accident with this weaving. So, I tend to try and stay with natural colors, and natural material. Um, so, and then Southwest. So everything kind of I like to tie in, but I do like color. So sometimes, when I'm working with like a variegated yarn, they're going to be very bright colors and um, it kind of I try to stick with a theme
Hmm.
and then go from there. I don't like to stay on trends though. I don't like that. I like to just do art, because I want to do a good piece. I think trends kind of rush me to do things, you
Hmm.
know. But neutral colors and um, like I said, matching it with like a Southwest. I don't know. I guess it's a feeling.
Yeah, that describes it perfectly, a feeling.
Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody come and be like, "Oh, can you do like this color palette or make ask you to do customs?"
Yeah, I actually did. And I remember this one because it was a new dancer starting out in Texas, and her mom reached out to me, and it was these colors I would have never have put together. It was
Uh-huh.
like pink, green, blue. It was these colors, and those are not neutral, natural colors to me either. So I said, okay. So I came up with like a few different color designs. I mixed and matched them. Like I shuffled the colors with the design, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that I did like them, and I actually enjoyed doing that. But I like custom pieces when people request them because sometimes it pushes me out of my comfort zone. And
Okay.
I'm like, oh, that does work well together. And it's for them anyways, and they want those colors for a reason. So, I'm just happy to help them on their journey.
Yeah, that's a good point of view because it does push you out of your comfort zone that when you're making it for someone else.
Yeah. 'Cause sometimes I
So,
do. I'm like, I don't know what colors to pick. I don't know. And then, that custom piece comes around and they answer that for you.
oh yeah, I love that. So what is it that you want people to feel when when they are wearing your pieces?
Um, I want them to feel proud that they're supporting Native artists and
Mhm.
the story that comes with it. I have a story for like every piece that I make. So if you come into my booth, I'm like, this is what inspired me. This is what this represents, and then of course they get where I'm from and what the inspiration was, and that's I want them to feel proud that they're supporting that. And those pieces will be a conversation starter for other people. And then they can tell the story. People love the stories, and the support. And then they can go out on their own and look for other Native artists and, support. Sometimes at my markets too, I'll wear other Native art, whatever it is. And they're like, did you make that? I'm like, no, I wish I did, but I'm going to tell you who did.
Uh-huh.
So I want them to feel the same way. Just go out, spread the word, and look for other Native artists and support them as well.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful message. I love the storytelling that you do. Um, have you had like a customer like hear the story and then just buy it immediately? Is that kind of
Yeah, they do. And, like, so for instance, like behind me, you can see that's like a ledger art piece that
uh-huh.
I did. And I know that's not a Pueblo theme, but I know out here they know a lot of people know what ledger art is.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, but I put like a Pueblo flair on it.
Uh-huh.
So they're like, this isn't a plain style, but it's just a conversation piece. Hey, do you know what ledger art is? And then
Uh-huh.
then you go into the history, that we all know about. And then they're like, wow, thank you for telling me. And then they'll buy the print, you know, And I think that's important too, is remembering the history of it. And because, we've gone through some hard times.
Yeah, that's so true. And I love that it like kind of marries the two ledger art, which is like a plain style with a Pueblo design. Because that's
Mhm.
also us where like I'm Danette and also Lakota. So like
Yeah.
marrying the yeah, and it just shows that, we did intermarry and I'm sure that would have been a natural uh evolution of our processes anyways.
Yeah, yeah, who knows? But it is definitely ledger art starting to take off actually over there. I have a really good artist friend, Mike Toya. He's doing amazing work there too. And he's the one who got me started in markets, to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I owe everything to him because I was just doing small markets and he was doing a fine art show and he's like, I got a conflict in my schedule. Can you come help me? I'm like, sure. So I went out and helped him and the fine art show was just amazing. And then that opened
Wow.
my eyes up to what is really possible for people. And so through him, I was able to make these connections and really see what I could do. And I really appreciated that opportunity from him, for
That's
sure.
cool. So you do a lot of markets. What's your favorite thing about showing up in these places?
It's the people who actually truly really want to know the truth. There's a
Okay.
lot of people that, hey, I heard this and I'm not sure if I could trust it.
Uh-huh.
And because people who don't understand native living, they only hear it from TV or certain sources. Now it's amazing because we're like coming out a whole lot. It's really
Uh-huh.
cool. I love it. But they ask me those questions before, and I'm not a know it. I don't know everything, but I just talk about what I know. And so that part I love when people really want to know. The other thing that I do is I have my loom and I always bring it. And the kids always like, they want to touch it. And the parents are
Uh-huh.
like, no, don't touch it. I said, no, do you want to weave? You want me to show you how? And so the
Oh,
kids just light up and I let them weave and it's messy and it could get chaotic sometimes, but if I can show them, let them feel it, let them touch it, let them, enjoy the process. And the parents are so grateful. And, with the leftovers from the belts, I make the key rings and wristlets. So sometimes what I'll do is like if the kid really enjoys it, I'll just give them one that looks very similar to the one that they're working on. And they
uh-huh.
just are so proud. It's almost like they made it.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that because you're also giving them a moment that they'll always remember.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's what I feel with them.
That is so sweet. I love that because it's in not only are they just browsing, but it's actually interactive. And I don't think that's really
Mhm.
common in spaces like that.
No, because it is. It's like a, hey, don't touch it. Just look, because they don't want them to break it and then buy
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so what's something people don't realize about the work that goes into setting up for a market?
I think it's the time preparing for the market. Once you got your setup, your system going, you're good.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's the mental preparation for it, I think. You kind of have to know where the show is, what your audience is, in my opinion. To kind of if you have multiple things in your booth, you can kind of make more of what you think will do better. And,
Okay.
so like when I came out here in Georgia, when I had a market here, none of the belts sold. Well, it's because they don't understand what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't catch on yet. So then my digital art was selling more. Well, my digital art wasn't selling back home. So, it's funny. But the trying to prepare for that market, your audience, mentally for that, because it takes weeks, months sometimes to build that inventory up.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, if you want to sell out, that's great. But if you have a show coming up in another 2 weeks and you sold out everything, you got to make that up. And
Oh my gosh. That would be panic mode.
hmm, yeah, it's good problem to have, but also kind of scary.
Yeah. I love that you're because I also do earrings and I was thinking about it because I'll be doing a market next Saturday and it's my first market. And so
Oh,
I'm
nice.
kind of nervous and have to build the inventory. I mean, like the prints, because I'm gonna make some prints and stuff, so I have to make those. But um I go to like a lot of like markets and stuff, and out
Mhm.
here I feel like it's a lot of like Amazon stuff, not native markets, but like they have candles, but I don't think they made them, and like
Yeah.
a
They
lot
might have
of
personalized them or something.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I love that all your stuff is handmade.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to compete with other vendors that might do that. I mean, I appreciate the personalization that they do, and but that's also a thing about getting into markets is kind of research the person putting it on and talk to them and see what other vendors are going to be there, so you can see your competition, and um, that's important to kind of see where you're at in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there a moment when you're at the market and you're like, yes, like a customer moment, or just a moment where you're looking around and you're like, this is why I like markets?
Yeah, I get those a lot. I actually do because I love that connection. Like I said, when they really truly are really interested, it's a bigger picture than just me and my art. It's that's not what it is. It's just just an open gate for them, and it sparks some passion that they might have had, and now it's regenerated. But surprisingly, like my last market, it was a Western type market. So my stuff is Southwest and I love
Uh-huh.
horses. And I forgot why I started this. And it was because I had 3 horses. I needed to feed them, and one had cancer, and I had to
Oh.
also help treat him. So I was like, I need some extra money. So that's also what kind of fueled me to do markets and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
so when I went to that market, that audience was there, and it reminded me because they were also horse lovers, and they saw it in my art that I have horses, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why I do this. And then then my other passion came out. So I think the connection with people, just sometimes I have these wow moments because I have a lot of passions. I just love life, I guess. And
Yeah.
to connect with people like that, it's an amazing feeling to listen to people and understand what they love too.
Yeah. So you did the horse painting in the back with the two, is it two moons?
This one is my heart horse, and this one is Sugarfoot, and those are dandelions.
Oh my God,
And then you can see there's
beautiful.
like Pueblo pottery type,
Flowers.
yeah, flowers. So yeah, that's my girl.
Oh.
She was my troublemaker, and I sent her to trainer after trainer and never worked out, but she got me into natural horsemanship. So I do natural horsemanship with her, and
Oh.
um, yeah. So I have other ones similar with different backgrounds, but she keeps popping up in my art.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that. I love the dandelions too.
Oh, those were fun because the dandelions came because we farm too on the reservation, and so people don't like the dandelions, but I love the dandelions, and I have like an organic field, so it's like the dandelions are going to be there no matter what, and they're good for you. You know,
Yeah.
you can
Uh-huh.
harvest them.
Yeah, you can eat them and probably good for pollinators and the natural ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah, they're really good. And they're just whimsical and magical. Who wants to make a wish and
Yeah,
you know.
that's so fun. So do you feel a responsibility when you create like in any way for your customer, you?
I think for me, my responsibility is, especially with the weaving, it's kind of going back to the basics, and that's what I'm starting to do now. I'm starting to go because of my opportunities that I had to go to markets with my weaving. I've also been put into these places where it's like from start to finish. So, from the sheep shearing all the way to the finished product. And that
Oh,
was an
wow.
amazing experience for me. And there's this program called Shave Them to Save Them.
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't realize how many rare breeds of sheep there were. And so, this is a program where fiber artists will buy like 4 ounces from the person who's raising them, and then you do your finished product. But it's a way of the responsibility of what happens if these sheep don't have a job, you know,
Oh,
who's going to raise them? They're
uh-huh.
already on the endangered list. So I think for me and what we did, so, churro sheep is on there. Churro sheep is a huge, wool supply for native weavers as well. So,
Wow.
I think going back to that, supporting these breeds, and creating your art, like I said, in a storytelling way. I think that's where I always kind of center myself in my designs or what I'm going to do.
Wow, I've never heard of the churro. And I love your explanation of the seeing the wool cut to all the way to producing like your belts, and that's
Yeah,
looking at the whole
the whole
picture
picture.
of what
Yeah.
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, like so, it starts out, I'll use this piece because it's brighter, but it starts out like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you spin it, and then look how beautiful like that turns out. Like, and then from here you can I'm gonna make rustic bookmarks because
Ooh.
I am not that good yet at spinning, but I don't care. I want that rustic look. It's just how it was done. And, and then soon I'll be making more spindles for the kids in my booth too, so they can try it out.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So growing up, we had sheep, but I don't know what kind of breed they were. Now that you're talking about it, I'm like, I don't know. We didn't even like some had the black face. They had like this shorter
Hmm.
wool. And then
Yeah.
so I don't really know, but we would shear them. And then my
Oh,
grandma showed us how to card the wool to get the stickers out. And then
yeah.
she would just sit there and spin it. And
Yeah.
she made it look so easy.
I know they make it look easy. It's practice. It's another bunny trail that I'm gonna go down.
I love that. That is so, I mean, even that's like the artistic journey because you start
Mhm.
in like, oh, like for me, like the dentalium shells, like, okay, and then now we're going to like how do we shave them down? And actually I saw somebody was 3D printing them.
Oh, wow. I don't
I know.
know. I mean, we have a 3D printer, but I think that there's some limits.
I know, isn't that interesting? I was
Yeah.
like, because I noticed that each one was like perfect, like in size and shape. And then I started like looking at it even more because I'm like, how is it so perfect, you know? And then I was like looking through the post. I'm like, she mentioned that she was 3D printing them. And I was like, oh, wow. It's
Well, I
interesting.
think it's cool. Yeah. I mean, we were 3D printing just for fun, and I don't know. My son is doing that now, part of his homeschool, so he's
Uh-huh.
learning how to design stuff. We're
Yeah.
gonna see what he comes up with.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love that. Yeah, technology, because it's here. So where's it gonna
Yeah.
go? Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can integrate it into your art too, it's just I've seen that's taking off as well. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. So, as an artist, what's been your biggest breakthrough?
My biggest breakthrough, I'm gonna go back to when I was given the opportunity to help out my friend at the fine art show, because I was able to network with other artists that were there as well, and see for myself the possibilities. And from there on, it was just like, this is amazing. It's not like your arts and crafts where it's a hobby. I mean, it is something that if you take seriously, it can really take off. And my daughter was along with me. She's a digital artist as well. She's been an artist longer than me as far as digital art.
Uh-huh.
And I actually kind of did these more for her to get her out there and get her confidence out. So, you know, that those shows really were an eye opener, and I love the connections that I find at those markets. They're amazing. I still am friends with so many of them today, you know, because you just support each other.
Yeah, that's so cool. That when you network and then you find out about other things and then you share that information. It's like a perfect little community. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And we're all in it together. We're all, setting up and working with customers and dealing with the weather,
Oh
trying
my
to hold our tents
gosh.
down.
Yeah. If it rains, it's like some markets are like rain or shine.
Yeah, yeah. I've been there. We've been in snow.
Oh my
Oh gosh, we've
gosh.
been in so many different types of weather. We've learned how to anchor our tent where it will not break as it's trying to fly away.
Uh,
That's
oh my
happened
gosh.
too. Yeah, we just had to have a new tent because it broke, and that's okay. The new upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. That's so, I love that because that, again, artist journey that these different things happen and you have to figure out, or entrepreneurship, really, as a
Hmm.
business owner.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what's something you're still learning or something you feel like you've mastered?
Definitely still learning the weaving because there's a lot more to it, definitely, and I'm so excited about that journey. I don't think I've mastered anything. I think it still amazes me how just they'll come inside my booth and say, "Wow, you're really talented," and it still amazes me because I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm still mastering, I'm still working on it, and like I said, my art isn't for how perfect it is. It's more the story, and it's an ongoing journey. So definitely the wool industry is a big one.
I think you're a master. I mean, that ledger art is beautiful and the dandelions and your weaving. Oh my gosh. I think it's amazing. Good
Oh,
job.
thanks.
Okay, so what is one piece that challenged you the most?
Um, I think weaving.
Okay.
My first like traditional style belt. I just remember, I think it sat on my loom for like a year.
Okay.
Um, because I stared at the loom like I had it for like a year before I decided to learn. And then I picked up a book to self teach myself.
Uh-huh.
And then I got brave enough to go ahead and warp it. And then I started the pickup, and I was just like, I just would weave and it would be wrong, and then the pattern would be wrong, and then I didn't understand how to put uh the the yarn back without getting tangled, and it was a mess. Oh, that was hard.
Oh my gosh.
But I
That
will keep that. I
uh,
will keep that belt.
reminding you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm keeping it I guess, about just finishing it, getting through it, everything I learned. It doesn't look the best, but it's the story, and I'm gonna keep that. I was always either keep your gift your first thing that you make, or keep it because it's special to you. That one
Uh-huh.
was gonna stay with me.
Amount of work that goes into weaving though, that is just like you said, to remember the pattern. And because my grandma did me weaving and she showed us briefly like how you have to use the piece of wood to go in between the strings and then you flip
Hmm.
it and then put the
Yeah.
yarn through. But to do like the intricate designs, I'm just like I wouldn't even know where to start because that's all she showed us was just like going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's plain weave, and that one's pretty easy. You just go back and forth. But once you add patterns and different color changes, then you got to pay attention, and then it gets more intricate for sure.
Like even your bookmarks, those look like intricate where you have the pattern. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely totally different learning curve there.
They're beautiful though. That is so like just in America with Amazon and like stuff coming in from who knows where. Like lately I think I because I always look at the tags. I think it's like Vietnam and Turkey sometimes,
Yeah.
and the fact that
Yeah.
your stuff is made here. I just love that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And trying to also keep it here with my earrings too. So like with the turquoise, I want to keep it, like Kingman turquoise, it's mined here.
Uh-huh.
Obviously the coral, you're not gonna you're not gonna get it here, but I do try to at least keep things here locally, in the US for sure.
Okay, so I had saw your pieces that were in the basket, and I know
Yeah.
in Zinna we have a different name for it, but it's like the little loops that sometimes you can
Hmm.
add to your
Yep.
necklaces. What are they
Yeah.
called?
Um, well, we call them chakla
Okay.
earrings. So yeah, you put them on your necklaces, and let me see. Yeah, these ones. And then
Yeah.
you have well, this is yeah.
Yes,
So
that.
yeah, but yeah, I don't do those ones for the necklaces. I just can concentrate on bracelets and earrings.
Earrings. Those are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody, you have to go check her out on Instagram because pick up those stuff. They're so beautiful.
Yeah, these are so hard to find. These are corn beads, these beads right there.
Oh,
And
wow.
those are super hard to find.
Oh, I love that. They're so pretty. It just reminds me of home. It's just like, oh, I love that. How everybody would just dress up super fancy, put all the jewelry
Mhm.
on.
Yeah, and this was one of the things I see all the time when I was in New Mexico. And this
Uh-huh.
is one of the things that is missing out here because, growing up, I saw them all the time. I thought they were normal. I didn't realize that this was, you know, kind of a signature piece to the Southwest.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
I love that sharing your community with a new community.
Yeah.
What has running a small business taught you?
Um, it's taught me, I guess, a lot about me as a person, and how to stay grounded in moving forward. Like, what is my reason for doing something? So a lot of times, we can get off track and try and please people and
Hmm.
do what they want. Um, but learning about like even the process of things, patience, patience, and then stress. Like there is stress to, involved, and when things don't go the way you want, how are you going to deal with the stress? Are you able to pivot when things don't go right? There are times where you just plan and plan and things don't go right, and how are you going to deal with it? Are you going to be positive about it? Or are you going to be angry and mad? I mean, I've had all of them. But over time you deal with it better and better. But I think the passion behind it is what drives you, to keep moving forward. And then, of course, getting out there and talking to people, you learn about people. I mean, you learn about people. Their stories are going to tell you. You just, okay, you just listen politely sometimes. And then other times, there are people that just love your story and become your fans.
Uh-huh.
What I love about some of the things that come back is what my piece has done for somebody else. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh, well, that's unexpected. So definitely just taught me a lot about myself and other people. And of course, really an appreciation for the simple things, because wool is simple. It's simple. It's just, it's just hair. But the whole journey, you learn about the sheep, where it came from, what it's known for, the farmer that's raising them, and the process it takes, and then the piece that you're making. Like, the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You just summed it up like from the whole back end of how you got the wool and then the front end where you interact with the customer and then you're creating storytelling with them because they're sharing with you and then you're also sharing your work. I love that. It's just like this whole ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh. And running a small business is stressful. And I've had all those emotions too, to where it's just like, oh my gosh. But learning to cope and so what is like one of your coping or um like self-care moments that you implement?
Um, To be honest, I go out and sit with my horse if it's that
Oh,
overwhelming.
yeah.
Um, you know, I don't know, a lot of people don't know, but horses do have, they're using horses in therapy. And so when you go sit out there with them, they have this way of calming you down. So if I'm very anxious, I'll just go out there and sit with her and just, she'll calm me down. If it's more of a lighter day where it's not that bad, I'll try to listen to some music or some nice soothing music, get myself in a peaceful place. I try to take myself out of noise, and or go sit outside. I like to sit outside a lot and just listen.
Hmm.
So I think that's why it works too when I go sit out with my horses. I just sitting there listening and I hear the birds, I hear the wind, I hear nature basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Especially with the horse. Oh my gosh. I grew up with my dad would have horses anytime I would visit him and stuff, and just like smelling them and touching the softness of their
Yeah,
nose.
she
Oh
has the
my God.
softest nose that I've ever touched. Just like
Uh,
velvet. It's weird. Like you won't know unless you actually know. Like you've touched some horses' noses,
uh-huh.
but she's got the softest nose, and that's one thing she likes to do when I'm feeling really down. She'll
Uh-huh.
come up here with her nose and put it here, and she'll just lightly breathe on me. It's so interesting.
Oh,
So
so
interesting.
sweet. Oh my gosh. I love that. What's her name?
Sugarfoot.
Oh,
She has one white foot, so that's where she got her name.
oh, cute. Yeah. Oh, I love that horses are therapy and that they know your emotions.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, it goes the other way too. Like, there are times when I'm working with her and I might be very agitated instead of like check myself, sit there and be calm. If I go out there and try and work with her and I'm not in that good mind space, she will not listen. She'll be very rebellious. It's crazy. They mirror you.
Oh,
So sometimes I check myself. I'll go out there and spend time with her and I know something's off when she's not minding. And then I know, okay, something's going on. Sometimes we don't recognize it in ourselves,
uh-huh.
and she's actually done that to me several times where something's off because of the way she's acting towards with around me. And
Uh-huh.
then I realize, oh, I'm a little more irritable or I'm a little bit more overwhelmed than I normally are. And so then I check myself and then, she's kind of like my gauge, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I love that. Thanks for sharing. That's beautiful. So how do you balance being an artist with being a business owner?
Do we? Um, that's hard because I think you can do all the art, but if you don't do the business side of it, it don't get out there, you
Yeah.
know? And again, like I think I don't want to take that creativity out because I'm so stressed about the business part.
Uh-huh.
Um, so what I say to myself is instead of I know we need those numbers to scale and I know we have goals and I know we got
Uh-huh.
to ramp it up, but if it's going to take that creativity away from me, I made it a deal with myself because I've overstressed myself too many times to step back.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time, your art is going to be way more beautiful, anyways, and
Mhm.
your perfect person is going to show up. Like they just start showing up without you trying. You know, I just feel like listening to that, take a step
Mhm.
back, don't overwhelm yourself, work on your business. That's true. Have goals, but don't beat yourself up if you're not doing it because you can't force it. There's just no way. And then your business, your creativity suffers.
Yes, that's so true because when you get overwhelmed, it really stifles your creativity. And I think it's been
Mhm.
proven like when you feel that like your creativity is like a hose and it just kind of like shuts off. But when you,
Yeah.
like you said, where you reset and you take a moment and just know that your customer is going to be there, I think it just like opens the valve back up.
Yeah. And I've noticed too, especially with people who are your fans, they are willing to wait for you because they want you to create in that good space. They're really willing to wait. It's not like any other industries, like you've got people hounding you to make a certain item that's really not like our story, you
Uh-huh.
know. They're hounding them to make it. But with us, I've noticed that customers are super respectful about and they want you to have that mental health. They want you to hey, just don't worry about my piece right now. Just take the time and do what you need to do. Not that that happens to me all the time, but I have noticed that thing life comes up and you're like, hey, I wasn't able to get your thing out. Sorry. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. You just get it done when you can. I'm like, wow, that was nice.
So I get stressed out about that. Like, oh, if somebody bought something and I have to mail it out like within a few days because I feel like, oh, Amazon is like the next day, you know? So I have to
Yeah,
like,
and that's true. And I hear that a lot. We're not Amazon.
yeah,
We're making stuff.
that's gonna be my sign in my market when I go to market. We're not
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, what advice would you give other Native artists who want to go into business?
I would say do it. Just go into business. If you've got a passion, don't worry about, don't compare yourself to anybody. You
Mm-hmm.
learn from them, but you don't compare yourself because everybody has their own journey for sure. And what works for someone is not going to might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for them. You just, like I said, protect that space, protect whatever you need to keep that creativity going that is true to what your vision is, because when you lose track of that, that's when you get kind of overwhelmed and you get all over the place and you lose focus, and then you feel like nothing's happening, and then I think that gets more discouraging, and that's, I think, where people quit. you know um like I said, just be true to you, keep going, keep you like get grounded. you
Uh-huh.
know take those breaks, but it's hard, it's not easy, it's so hard. And I think if you didn't like what you were doing enough to even think about a business, you just wouldn't go nowhere. um just get out there, do it, network, talk to other artists, because other artists are super, super supportive. You know, they definitely are. I love that. And that's why I like the markets. Go to the markets, network, even if you're not selling, go to the markets, talk to them,
Uh-huh.
support them, and they give you inspiration too, because there's enough market for all of us.
Yeah.
you
Oh my
know?
gosh, that's such a good way to think about it because I think sometimes coming from the community, we maybe grew up with scarcity and continue to think like, oh, well, maybe there's already too many market or too many artists in the market or whatever. But I feel like
Mhm.
each of us has our own gift and that we're able to like your ledger art with Pueblo art. Like I've never seen that before, you know? So that's that always something new that we can add to the art space.
Exactly. Yeah. And we all have something to give. And I think that's where it comes, where you find your signature style or your signature motivation, instead of, I mean, we need to learn from other people, but you know, if you're copying somebody else, you're really not having your own story. But it's good practice, because that's what I did when I first started beading. I didn't necessarily copy everybody, but the style was kind of the same. And then you don't branch off until you actually have practice and you have your purpose, and you have the technique down that you want. But just just go for it and put yourself out there and be open to opportunities, because none of this was actually my doing. It was all just opportunities that came up and I said yes, and then here we are.
That's awesome. And I think the other thing that you said that's important is don't give up and having your why. Like, why do I do this? Because
Mhm.
sometimes it will get challenging. I've hit some like roadblocks where I'm like, well, it's not too bad. Like, I guess I could go back and get a job, but I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to be an artist.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm like, my kids are getting older. I want to do, like I said, I was doing this to help fund my horses. So that was
Uh-huh.
my why,
Yeah.
with a purpose, because it
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm not just doing anything to make money. I want a purpose, because that's what people want is, why are you doing this? Why is this
Uh-huh.
important to you? And when I I've seen it in all the markets. I've seen it where you got the Amazon people that are just
Uh-huh.
reselling things, and then the people with a purpose and a story. And at first I didn't get this. Like, I'll be honest, when I first went to a fiber art show, they had these rugs that were just this yarn, just nothing, no, just rugs.
Uh-huh.
And they were selling them like crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't get it. But it was the story,
Uh,
it was the teaching of the sheep and where it came from and the whole process and why it's important to them. And it was a beautiful piece, but it wasn't, I didn't understand it yet. You
Uh-huh.
know,
When I went to Swaya, everybody was telling us like how they made the things and like the story behind it, which I love that you're sharing that because I feel like I just went to a market a couple weeks ago, local market, and nobody was talking about the story. They were just like sitting kind of there, like, do you want to buy my earrings?
yeah,
And not really like
yeah.
telling the story. I have a friend who's selling perfumes that she had created, but she wasn't really telling the why. And I think the fact that you're really emphasizing the why and the story, I think that's really important. Like now that we're having this conversation, that's making the difference.
Yeah, it does. It does make a difference. Um, Yeah, I mean, your stuff can speak for itself, and that draws people in. Because I know I wasn't that artist that goes, "Hey, come on into my booth and check us out." I mean, I'm not that. I will sit there quietly, and then the art will speak for itself. But once they come in, I'm like, "Hi, have you heard of ledger art?" Or
Yeah.
that's an Inco loom because they're looking at the loom and they're like, "What is that thing?" I'm like, "That's an Inco loom. Have you seen that before?" So I try to have conversation pieces set up on my booth so that that's an opener for me because I am a shy person to begin with.
Uh-huh.
And then of course, then just goes from there naturally.
We're coming up on the hour. I wanted to know, is there anything you want to promote?
My Etsy shop, well, I would say my Instagram because um, I don't post everything on Etsy.
Oh.
It's so hard, like the business side of it. But on my Instagram too, you kind of get the backstory of things too. You see the products before, like I put strings of beads, and then I'm like, this is going to be what I'm going to be making earrings with. And so it's like a
Uh-huh.
teaser. And then it's like, watch the process. And then, whatever makes it to Etsy because sometimes I sell at the markets and they don't make it to Etsy. So
That's a good
yeah,
problem.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
definitely my Instagram, um, and then Etsy, and then eventually I'll do some YouTube and get some tutorials out too. That would be so fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So everybody listening, go check out her Instagram and buy up her stuff because it is beautiful. I love it. I think I'm gonna put an order. Okay. So I always do the three rapid fire questions. So we'll close out with that. What is your go-to booth snack?
I try to stay healthy.
Okay, yeah.
I will say it's not really a snack, but my husband says it's your snack. It's coffee.
Oh.
So I have to have coffee for sure. And then, we take crackers, saltines, some beef sticks because I really like to buy from the vendors that are there as well.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want to get too full on that, but it's something to keep me going with just, carbs and protein and of course coffee. Just have to have my coffee.
That's funny, your snack. That's cute. I love that. Okay. If you could weave a piece for any person, past or present, who would it be?
That's so funny because when I was doing a market, the lady that I have her book here, and she's amazing. Her name is Annie. And I
Okay.
learned how to weave with this book. It was an amazing book. She showed up to the market.
Oh, okay.
And when you're weaving a piece, following along with someone you admire, you're like, I wonder what that person would say. And she showed up and she bought one of my belts. I was like, "You want my belt, really?" So it already kind of
Wow.
happened for me, and that was an
Oh,
amazing moment. And I just was so grateful for that. And we're friends to this day.
oh my God. I love that. That is so cool. That is just like I get so funny when there was a tattoo artist that I was following and I saw her in person and I was like, oh my God, so and I just got like super, I don't know.
Like
And
starstruck.
yeah. And then with Tantu Cardinal, the actress, the same thing. Oh my, and normally I'm not like that.
I know it's funny how we act, huh, when we see somebody.
So I don't know how I would be. I'd probably be like that. If the person who I was learning from, bought something. I was like,
I tried to gift it to her. She's like, no,
oh,
I'm gonna pay for it. I was like, okay.
that's sweet. Oh, I love that. Okay, so when you're weaving, what is your playlist? What music do you put on?
Um, if if I'm playing music, because the sounds of the weaving are really good for me, but if I need to put music on, it's gonna be like ambient fantasy style music.
Ooh, is that like on YouTube or play
Yeah, I
Spotify?
usually go to YouTube. Yeah. If I don't have to concentrate, then I could also do audiobooks, but
Okay.
I'm a big fantasy reader.
What is one book? I know this wasn't on the questions, but what is a book you're reading right now? The fantasy.
Well, I lost my headphones, so I'm like I stopped listening because I usually put them on to drown out everything. But
Uh-huh.
court of oh,
Oh,
gosh,
The Crown and Thorns or something like
the
that.
Court of Thorns and Roses. Like
Oh, there
I'm
you go.
probably saying it wrong.
Me too.
I'm like on book 3 now on the audiobook, but I
Oh,
love it because I use graphic audio, and so it's like a
oh,
movie. So they have the music in the back, and the characters all have a different voice, and so it's like really neat for your imagination.
I love that. Yes, I use audiobooks too when I'm like walking or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I've
Nice.
enjoyed our time. It went by
Yes,
so fast.
I
Thank you for
know.
sharing yourself with us and your journey. So,
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I had a blast.
yes, thank you so much. So, have a great day. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.